Good morning, Dave here, the Enlightened Plumber, with today's quote. Courage is what it takes to stand up and speak. Courage is also what it takes to sit down and listen. Courage is what it takes to stand up and speak. Courage is also what it takes to sit down and listen. This is from Sir Winston Churchill. And let's get into this. Okay, so courage is what it takes to stand up. I think everybody out here, I'm sure you and I for sure have definitely come across this one, that it takes courage to get up and speak. When you have, going back to school, going back there to those times when the teacher says, hey, does anybody know the answer? Or it doesn't have to be in school, this could be university, it could be college, it could be whatever, any educational, any training environment, anywhere you're surrounded by your peers and someone says, hey, do you know the answer? And you look around the room and there's like no one moving. In fact, it's dead silent. And you're like, okay, it takes courage to get up, raise your hand and say, hey, yeah, I know the answer. And I'm going to stand up and be judged by everybody here. If I get it right, okay. If I get it wrong, oh boy, oh, I'm in trouble now, because everybody's going to be going, hee, you got it wrong. So it does take courage to get up and stand up and speak. And that's the school environment. But in a workplace, in life, if there is some injustice going on, something that you personally believe is wrong that someone else is doing, it takes courage to get up and say, hey, stop graffitiing that wall, stop vandalizing the car, stop, cutting their grass short or pouring acid down the drain or whatever it may be. There could be a whole whack of different things that are out there. It could be, hey, you know what, you're shouting and screaming at that poor defenseless kid, woman, anybody else who's out there. And you're like, okay, that's wrong, I've got to go and say something. That could be people who are littering, a whole whack of things. Anyway, you get the point there. It takes courage to get up, stand up and speak. And you don't physically have to stand up, just speaking, going out, moving out of your comfort zone to speak is courage. That's also the equivalent of standing up, right? Could be political things, saying, hey, I don't believe in this government, I don't believe in this cause, I'm going to stand up and speak. Now, on the other side of things, it takes as much, and sometimes maybe more courage, to sit down and listen. Because we have perspectives. I certainly have perspectives, and my perspective is bound to be different to your perspective on whatever issue. Might be the same, might be close, but if it's a different perspective altogether, like you are totally wrong and I am right, I've certainly met a bunch of people that are totally right. So look at that and go, what's the difference here? In those circumstances, it takes a lot of courage to actually listen to someone else's opinion when you personally inside feel they are totally wrong, they're lying, they have no idea what they're talking about. It takes a lot of courage to listen, especially on a very sensitive issue. If it's something you don't care about, well, okay, that's less of a concern. But if it's something you personally have a lot of issues around, it takes a lot more courage to sit there and listen, because all you want to do is go, no, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong. So to listen and understand someone else's viewpoint is incredibly hard. And I would suggest today you look at some times where either that has happened in your life or may be ongoing right now about a certain issue, and maybe pipe down, listen, because it's only when you listen that you are able to offer some real value and advice. You may even find out that your way of thinking is actually wrong in this circumstance. So with that in mind, courage is what it takes to stand up and speak. Courage is also what it takes to sit down and listen. With that, from Sir Winston Churchill and myself, Dave, the Enlightened Plumber, have yourselves an awesome day.